Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair Explore session. Thank you so much for joining us. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to address questions to any of our presenters at any time, not just during their 6-minute presentation. Each of the universities will speak for about 6 minutes about their university. Your camera and your microphone are turned off, so the panelists won't be able to see or hear you. So that Q&A feature really is the only means you have to interact with us. And we love to answer your questions. So ask questions about specific universities, about the application, anything related to college admission is fair game. Also, it's just one of many different sessions happening tonight. After this, you have some choice in which universities you hear from. So be sure to sign up for some other sessions. Also, the presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week's time on strivescan.com/BACS. So we have a variety of universities that are presenting with you today. They vary by size, location, other characteristics. Hopefully this session broadens your horizons and you see from some colleges, you learn from some colleges that you wouldn't have heard from otherwise. So you can, let's see, that is the wrong list of universities. This is the group of universities you'll be hearing from today: Wake Forest, Boston University, Lehigh University, Sarah Lawrence College, St. Olaf College, and Purdue University. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our first presenter from Wake Forest University.
Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm going to take control away from Josh while I quick share my screen for y'all to see. Okay, perfect. So hello and welcome. My name is Morgan Wertkamp. I'm an assistant dean of admissions at Wake Forest University. And I know, like Josh said, our time is short. And so I'm going to try my best in 6 minutes to tell you kind of everything you really need to know about Wake Forest. So firstly, Wake Forest is a liberal arts college. We are located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we are considered a medium small school. So we have roughly 5,000 undergraduate students and 2,800 graduate students. I like to stress those numbers because I think it's important to know that you're at a college that really emphasizes and focuses on the undergraduate students, both teaching and learning. Of course, there are benefits to having graduate students as well as graduate schools on your campus, such as the business school, the law school, and our medical school downtown. That being that as an undergraduate student, you have access to those graduate school resources your entire 4 years while you're a student on campus, which definitely makes us fit the mold of being a small liberal arts college, but having the resources of a larger research institution. That's furthered, I would say, by the fact that we've extended our main campus into our downtown community. And so this is our Wake Downtown campus. I know, clever name. And it is located in our downtown city center. So this is where you'll find our graduate medical school, as well as 4 main undergrad programs, one of them being engineering. Don't get sad though, because if you're not a STEM student, it's likely you'll still get a chance to take a course at Wake Downtown. Every year, 16 different departments teach down here. And so the hope is that every student at least takes one class in our downtown community. Again, this is a really great way for our Wake Forest students to get access to our downtown, which is roughly 3 to 2 miles away, or 2 to 3 miles away. And it's a very vibrant community. Winston-Salem as a city has a total of 4 undergrad colleges in the city. And so our students are kind of constantly going down there, always having things to do. And it really adds to that community, both being a Demon Deacon on our own campus, as well as a Winston-Salem resident. I'll jump into now kind of where you'll be spending majority of your time, most likely, and that'll be the classroom. I think the most important thing to know about Wake Forest when it comes to the classroom experience is that all of our classes are taught by Wake Forest professors. So you'll never have a class that's taught by a TA. You'll always be kind of learning from the source, so to speak. Our student faculty ratio is 11 to 1. And what that really means is that on average, your classes are going to be 20 to 25 students in size. And that'll be consistent your entire 4 years while you're a student on campus. Additionally, like I said, we are a liberal arts school, and a lot of our students come in not really knowing what is that thing that they're passionate about, what they want to dive into. And luckily, they don't have to make that decision right away. Students declare a major at Wake at the end of their sophomore year. So you have 2 full years to really explore and get a sense of what you're interested in. And for our students, 90% of them end up declaring in more than one area. So they might be a major with a minor, 90% of them, and then roughly 34% of them have double majors across disciplines. And so again, there's a lot of flexibility to really pick a curriculum and study the things that you are most interested in. And so that's a little bit about the classroom dynamic. I'm going to shift now to talk about the two things that Wake is most known for outside of that academic experience. The first one being undergraduate research. So for our students on campus, roughly 2/3 of them are involved in undergraduate research. And of that amount, 50% of them do research directly alongside a faculty member, so long professors, and then the other 50% get their research fully funded. And so I'm always telling students, if there's something that you're interested in, that you're wanting to delve deeper into, you'll have an opportunity to do that. Additionally, research does not just mean STEM field. I know we kind of bias to think that way, but there are equal opportunities to do research in both the humanities, social sciences, spectrum of classes and majors. So really anything is accessible as it comes to research. The next thing I want to talk about now is our opportunities to go abroad. So being global learners is a huge part of the Wake Forest experience. Roughly 75% of our students go abroad in a normal year, and we have 400 programs to 70 different countries. So quite a lot for you to choose from. If you're not exactly sure which one you want to pick right away, you might consider doing one of our study away programs here in the US. We have a Wake Washington semester-long program, and the bottom one, Wake West, might look a little bit more familiar. These include semester-long study away programs that include internships while you're away from campus. So again, giving you this really great professional experience. Now, when you're not away from campus, you'll be living on campus. And so students are required to live on campus for 3 years. We guarantee 4. And for our seniors, 50% of them continue to live on campus, which more or less means that we have a very active community at the Wake Forest main Renolda campus. We have over 200 clubs. At least every third night, there's a performance or an event happening. We also have countless opportunities for you to get involved in service, giving back to our local community as well as national organizations through our Pro Humanitate motto, meaning for humanity. And last but certainly not least, we are also the smallest D1 school in a Power 5 conference. And so small but mighty is something that they say about us, or maybe we say about us. So you really get the best of both worlds, both that small personal learning environment and the big school spirit. So that is Wake in a 6-minute nutshell.
Thank you so much, Morgan.
Of course.
And next we will hear from Boston University. I think it's Matthew.
All right, here we go. Good evening or good afternoon, or time zones are hard. My name is Matthew Gallery. I am a senior assistant director with the Board of Admissions at Boston University. First, just want to start off with a kudos to all of you for going through your college search in such a dynamic and interesting, putting it lightly, way. One of the things that we want to emphasize, I think each of us tonight, is that you are always welcome to contact us and to reach out to us so that we can assist you in your college search. So one thing I'm going to start with is just dropping my contact information, as well as a link to some quote unquote handouts about BU. So in terms of Boston University, a quick overview of the university itself. BU is the 4th largest private research and teaching institution in the country, with a little over 16,000 undergraduate students. I think it's also important to start with our physical location within the city of Boston. Everything that you see in this main backdrop here is the city proper, and then everything in this space is our campus. Our campus is uniquely situated just outside of the downtown part of the city, which really allows for kind of 2 major things. Our campus is both a traditional, although there's nothing traditional about the college campus itself, in that we do have that sense of community. Students know where the boundaries are. They know where BU ends and Boston starts. But it also allows for us to have that urban sensitive environment. So our students can get into downtown Boston very easily. The train, it's like the BART, except a little bit better, gets you into downtown Boston about 10 to 15 minutes. So you have access to really the best of both worlds of having that of community, but also that urban environment, which we feel it's very important for our students to be able to have both because, again, we're on the larger side. We're over 16,000 undergraduate students, and our students come from all over, of course, from all across the US. California is the third most represented state on campus, but truly from all around the globe. A quarter of our students identify as coming from an international country, from over 100 countries around the world. So at a school like BU, you're going to have so many different perspectives, languages, cultures, identities, and ultimately what we call the diversity of thought, or of course, academic interests. At BU, we offer over 300 programs across 10 undergraduate schools and colleges, and tons of flexibility that really goes with that. Students can pursue multiple degree programs by either having a double major or dual degree or adding on minors, which over 70% of our students do. So making sure that you're able to customize your education based on your interests and what you're hoping to get out of your time at BU. When you come to BU, you're not contained to that initial program. In fact, a third of our students come in undeclared. So you have flexibility to be able to switch your degree program, or like I mentioned, adding on secondary options. And one of the ways that we encourage students to do exactly that is through our BU Hub, which is our liberal arts education. The BU Hub is really designed around teaching students important skill sets in what we call capacities. And these capacities are meant to go beyond just check boxes, 2 boxes in math, 2 boxes in sciences, 2 boxes in English. For example, we want our students to learn important skills, such as reading and writing, of course, but rather than just having every single first-year student take a first-year English class on Shakespeare, which we offer plenty of if that is your interest, we have classes that teach you reading and writing through cybersecurity and US national security, or on cosmic visions and astronomy, or on food, one of my personal favorites. So making sure that you're learning these important skills, but in spaces that are going to be most interesting and relevant to you. And combining that liberal arts experience with the professional studies, making sure that our students are really coming out of their classroom time prepared to enter into the real world. We have an average class size of just 27 and a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio to make sure that students are forming meaningful connections with their professors. 100% of our classes are taught by professors, and these professors didn't just go from degree to degree to degree to begin teaching at BU. They have been a part of real world experiences. For example, our international relations department has a former CIA agent on staff. Our journalism program has folks who have been a part of the Boston Globe. We want students to be able to learn from folks who have been a part of these industries, a part of these fields. And they're not just going to be your educators and your teachers. They're going to become your mentors, your colleagues, your peers, to ensure that you're able to be a part of these industries that you're looking to pursue. Also emphasizing experiential learning opportunities, both in the city of Boston, on campus, and abroad. BU is considered a tier 1 research institution, which is just a fancy term for there's a lot of money and resources going into that research enterprise. And of course, that's going to be within the STEM fields. We have thousands of laboratory spaces on campus. Some you have to take safety classes before you can even utilize, such as our Engineering Product Innovation Center. And then, of course, many different industries. That's going to be in education. That's going to be a part of fine arts. That's going to be a part of every field at BU. So ensuring that students have access to lead research, we offer programs like our Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, or UROP for short. UROP is a way to be innovative. It's a way for students to guide and lead research in their own spaces. You can come up with your own proposal of what you want to study, how you want to study it, what types of resources and spaces you may need, and UROP funds undergraduates to the tune of over $1 million annually. So again, ensuring that students are able to lead that research enterprise. Over 90% of our students will participate in at least at least one internship prior to graduating. So making sure that our students have professional experiences and the capacity to, of course, jump into the working world. And just shy of half of our students will study abroad at least once during their undergraduate experience. So making sure that students can also get that global education on campus just as much as when they go off of campus. I'd be remiss to not talk about the city of Boston as well. We are actually one of over 60 colleges within a 10-mile radius of the city of Boston. So your BU ID gets you free access to museums around the city, gets you wonderful discounts, $9 to go see the Red Sox, and many great perks of all that the city of Boston has to offer. But you also find community on campus, over 450 clubs and organizations to choose from, ranging from over 40 cultural organizations, 24 varsity Division I sports, tons and tons of a cappella groups, bands, ensembles, orchestras, Greek life student organizations. Our Fit Recreation Center has a lazy river in it. So many different ways to be involved on campus and take advantage of the community, both on campus and in the city itself. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much, Matthew. And next, we'll be hearing from Morgan at Lehigh University.
Great, bear with me. Here we go. Okay, everybody can see my screen. So hi, everyone. My name is Morgan Volkart, and I work with Lehigh University. I'm the Associate Vice Provost for the Western Region and International Recruitment at Lehigh. I'm also a Lehigh alum as well, and excited to share a bit more about Lehigh with you today in the 6 minutes that we have. We're actually a private residential research university, and we have about 5,200 undergraduate students from over 90 different countries, 49 states, and California is actually the fourth most represented state on our campus. We have this medium size that definitely allows us to provide more of a personal touch to your experience, but also offer the resources of a much larger research university as well. So I'm going to try to highlight for you some of the things that I think make Lehigh really unique and distinctive from other universities. And a lot of that is tied to the way in which we're able to foster a hands-on interdisciplinary approach to learning, while also fostering an entrepreneurial mindset and a global perspective across all disciplines that you might be considering studying. Here's an aerial shot of our campus in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania during the fall, which is everyone's favorite time of year. Just within walking distance of our campus, you'll find over 20 different restaurants, 15 different types of cuisines, tons of different festivals, including the largest free music festival in the nation every year, Music Fest. Lots of shopping and outdoor activities. We also have an airport just 10 minutes from campus. You can also drive to New York City and Philadelphia within an hour and a half, as well as other major cities in the Northeast too. And I'll talk a little bit about our West Coast presence later. But for starters, academically, students can choose from over 100 different majors across 4 undergraduate colleges that you see here. Our College of Education is actually predominantly for graduate students, but a lot of students will come in undecided, take advantage of the first 2 years to really decide what they want to do. Most students will double major, take on minors. I personally came in not really knowing, and I ended up switching my major 3 times. Ultimately was still able to double major within 4 years. And that's while also including things like study abroad, internships, and playing a Division I sport all 4 years. So the flexibility that we offer is really a blessing to our students. But if you know what you want to do and you want to hit the ground running, we have some great honors programs and accelerated programs like our integrated degree in business and engineering, our computer science and business program. We have an integrated degree in engineering and arts and sciences, just to name a few of those interdisciplinary programs that you see we have over 24 of at Lehigh. But we really do emphasize that hands-on approach to learning, and that's going to be through things like research, co-ops that our engineers do in their junior year, as well as internships offered throughout your 4 years at Lehigh. But one thing I want to highlight is our mountaintop experience. So this is literally on the top of the mountain that Lehigh is built on the side of. And we have massive maker spaces up on that mountain that look like what you see in the picture here. We have 3 buildings just like this, where students are bringing to life projects that they've proposed, they've been given resources and funding for. And a lot of times these projects have never been done before, and they're usually working across disciplines as well. So there's typically no grade attached to them. The idea is that there's no fear of failure if there's no bad grades involved, and you'll really take more risks and be creative in a way that you might not do in a classroom setting. We also have our presence on the West Coast, which allows our students, again, to apply what they're learning and take advantage of many opportunities here on the West Coast, like internships. They also do co-ops out here, and various programs that we offer through the Lehigh at NASDAQ Center. And this is just a smattering of some of the companies that we partner with and we work with to provide those opportunities for students on the East Coast. But we do have 2 physical spaces, and one of them is the Lehigh at NASDAQ Center, and that's right in the financial district of San Francisco. It's 4,500 square feet. Our students take classes there, do workshops, we do events with alumni, but various programs throughout the year. One in particular is our Startup Academy in the summer, where students actually get fully funded internships that include free housing and a stipend to live off of in San Francisco. And it's just a great way for them to stay connected to the Bay Area, the alumni network out here, as many do end up returning back to the West Coast and the Bay Area after graduating from Lehigh. And I also want to highlight another really unique experience. So we do look to foster a global perspective, and our partnership with the United Nations is just one way that we do that. So every Thursday, our students have the opportunity to attend weekly briefings at the UN. We have internships just for Lehigh students there every year. We also have a program where students are able to serve as a youth ambassador for an NGO at the UN. So you'll find our students speaking there, sitting on panels, helping to host conferences and other large events as well. I also want to mention our international internships. They're quite unique because they are fully funded in the summertime, and those are 8 to 10 weeks. We cover your flight, meals, housing, on the ground expenses, everything. And you could do that as soon as the summer after your freshman year. So you can take advantage of all these great opportunities on our campus where you have lots of different opportunities from clubs, sports, Greek life, lots of community service, school spirit and traditions. Fun fact, Lehigh actually has the longest played rivalry in the history of college football, and we played our 150th game at Yankee Stadium and lit up the Empire State Building. So it is a pretty big deal, and I'm going to leave you with that fun fact and hope that you will take advantage of resources online to stay connected and reach out if you have any questions after today.
Thanks so much, Morgan. Next, we will hear from Sarah Lawrence College.
Hi, everybody. My name is Liam George. I am an admission counselor at Sarah Lawrence, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about the college today. I'm going to start with just some general basics, but move pretty quickly into some in-depth information on the academic structure, which I think is really the thing that makes the college particularly distinctive. You can see here on the map, if you're not familiar with the area, this is New York City, that little pin down there, Grand Central Terminal, that green rectangle nearby, Central Park. This blue line is the Metro North's Harlem line from Grand Central up to Bronxville Station, which is within walking distance of campus. It's actually about 15 miles north of the city, the campus center. So it really does have access to the city for the students when they want to take advantage of it. In addition to that, we do offer free shuttle service on Saturdays to and from the city, so you don't always have to pay that fare back and forth. But I always like to emphasize that New York City is a supplement to student life at Sarah Lawrence, that the campus itself is in a more suburban setting. It's a more kind of traditional liberal arts college vibe. And definitely there's plenty of people and plenty of things to do any given day on campus. Every weekend, you never have to worry about it turning into some kind of ghost town. Most of the people are there on campus, even though you do have the city right at your fingertips. Founded in 1926, we have an enrollment of about 1,350 students. So it is very residential in nature. So the college really does emphasize that. You find that the students tend to be really interested in being active and engaged in the community there. But what I want to spend most of the time today talking about is the academic model. I'll start with the class structure and then talk a little bit about the curriculum. But the picture on your screen right now comes from one of our seminar conference courses, which about 90% of our academic classes follow this structure. The seminar component of that is a roundtable discussion-based class that averages only 12 students and caps at 15. So it's always this really intimate and interactive setting where students have the opportunity to bounce ideas off of one another as well as off of the professor directly. What's really unique, though, is that in addition to this, students have a chance to meet individually with the professor of these classes for about 30 to 45 minutes every other week during a time known as conferences. And so what a conference will look like will vary a little bit from the beginning to the end of the semester. So at the beginning, you might just be getting to know one another a little bit, getting a sense of your interests and so forth. You can start asking questions about course readings and course materials. You have a chance to connect the work that you're doing to current events and some of the work that you might be doing in other classes as well. But the main focus of this conference time is to start thinking about a larger independent project that you'll be doing that really is based on your own passions and interests. And so what a conference project will entail will vary pretty greatly depending on what a student is interested in doing. But you might see a student in a writing class creating a portfolio of short stories, poetry, a few chapters of a novel, whereas a student in the sciences might do some hands-on scientific research and a student in a foreign language class might do a translation of a text, just as an example. It doesn't have to be exactly in line with the course curriculum, and indeed, it's very much encouraged to be interdisciplinary in many ways. So it's really an opportunity for you to hop in the driver's seat and take control of your studies. Because you're doing a little bit more in each of these classes as a result, you are taking only 3 at a time, but all of them are worth 5 credits. So you're doing the same amount of work overall and same kind of time commitment, but it's just a slightly different distribution of those credits that allows you to dig a little bit deeper into each subject area, and you're not stretched quite so thin between so many different subjects at once. The outside of that, we have about 10% of the academic courses that are taught in a small lecture setting. So those are usually between 25, 30, 35 students or so in those courses. And they still retain a lot of their interactivity because the students really value having that kind of active and participatory role in the learning process. All courses, regardless of the structure, are taught by professors, never taught by TAs or graduate students. And in those lecture courses, your secondary component is a group conference, which ends up looking a lot like the seminars. So you still have a chance to meet those professors in that smaller setting as well. The only exception to either of those 2 class styles comes in the performing arts. So if you are interested in something along those lines, you do have access to a kind of conservatory style structure within the liberal arts curriculum. So those are the classes overall that we have. In terms of the curriculum itself, though, there are a few kind of unique features. So we have both an open curriculum, but one in which every student designs their own course of study. And so the idea behind an open curriculum, I'll point to a few different things, is I think that a lot of people have heard the term, but we don't often take the time to actually define what it means to be an open curriculum. So first, it comes before you ever are on the campus itself. You are applying to the college as a whole and not to a specific program. And when you're admitted into the college, that means you have gained access into every class and every program that we offer. Secondly, no matter what your main focus area happens to be, you still have access to the rest of the curriculum as you see fit. So it's not unusual to have students who are studying, say, pre-med, but are taking another language or are continuing their dancing, something along those lines. And those combinations, again, really are common. Then lastly, we also don't have reserved seats in any of our courses for students studying just that specific area. So instead, every class you take, whether it's an English literature course or a philosophy class, will be taken alongside linguists, historians, artists, mathematicians, and scientists. So everybody's bringing something a little bit different to the table, but something that is definitely creates a very dynamic atmosphere at the college and in the setting. So that is a little bit about the academic structure of the college. And I hope that was interesting to you, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the sessions. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Liam. Next, we'll be hearing from Maggie from St. Olaf College.
Hi, everyone. See there. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for bearing with me as I click through on my screens. So yes, my name is Maggie Matson-Larson, and I am one of the admissions officers at St. Olaf College. I'm sorry, I don't know why it went to the wrong screen here. This is, hold on one second. I'm sorry, my computer. All right, there we go. We're back. So I am the admissions officer, works with students from California, and it is really fun to be here chatting with you all today. Thank you for listening and for being here. So yes, I am from St. Olaf College. We are a small liberal arts college. We only serve undergraduate students. We're located in Northfield, Minnesota, which is about 45 minutes south of Minneapolis, St. Paul of the Twin Cities area. So metro area of about 3 million people, definitely not the Bay Area, but it is the second largest urban setting outside of the city of Chicago in the Midwest. So here you can see an outline of the state of Minnesota, and the little shield icon, that is where we're located. So we are in the southern part of the state. We do have 3,000 students, so compared to a lot of small liberal arts colleges, 3,000 is actually pretty big, and that means that you get to know people in your classes, your roommates, everybody in your community, that you do still get to meet new people all the time. Lots of clubs and organizations, a lot of athletic offerings, so there is a lot to do to stay engaged. And yes, we are located in Minnesota, so we do have all 4 seasons to their most robust. It does not look like this on campus right now, I will say, but this is our old main building. We're located up on top of a hill. Northfield itself is a town of about 20,000 people, so it is a small town. We share the town with Carleton College. They're about a mile away from us, so that is also a pretty unique setting to have 2 small colleges in one small town. Not in the suburbs, we are definitely our own small town, but again, close to Minneapolis-St. Paul, close to the airport and everything that the Twin Cities have to offer. So that's a little bit about our location. And then just more about our programs and what we offer at St. Olaf. So we do offer over 85 majors, programs, and concentrations. At St. Olaf, concentrations are our version of a minor. Around a third or so of our students double major at St. Olaf, which is definitely possible. In terms of programs, we offer a variety of pre-professional programs like pre-health, pre-law, pre-med, and all of those programs you can kind of add on to whatever your major is. So maybe in sciences, maybe not if you're a pre-health major. It depends on kind of what your direction might be. We do send more students abroad than any small college in the country. So that is a number one ranking that we have had for about 12 years now. So study abroad, you can study abroad for a full semester or for the month of January. We do have a 4-1-4 academic calendar. So 4-1-4 means you take 4 classes in the fall, 4 classes in the spring, and then for the month of January, you take 1 class. And most of our students choose to study abroad during that 1 month. So you can go anywhere in the world. There are a ton of opportunities. Most students go for St. Olaf-led programs, which is really exciting. So you're going with friends and classmates and people you know from the community, in addition to traveling with professors. So you get to know people really, really well. And fine arts at St. Olaf are also a pretty big deal. So I just want to highlight that about a third of our students are involved with music in some way. But of that 30% of our students, only 8% or so actually major. So if any of you are interested in continuing music and diving into it and being part of a world-renowned music program, but maybe you don't want to major in music, that is something that is a really popular option. And also students are able to be as involved with music as they want without majoring. If you do want to major in music, we do offer, in addition to a Bachelor of Arts degree in music, a Bachelor of Music degree. So that is where students are able to take about 2/3 of your classes within the music department. A little bit more about our community here. The building you see on top, that is our common center. That is our dining hall. So I always like to highlight that. We do have currently a 7th ranking by the Princeton Review for our food. It is really good, tons of options. We have 1 dining hall, and that was on purpose to serve the entire campus. So all 3,000 students, for the most part, do live on campus. 95%, as the slide says, do live on campus for all 4 years. So the dining hall, having 1 on campus, really reinforces that community, which is a really important part of what St. Olaf is all about. We have over 200 clubs and organizations, lots of opportunities to be involved, and about 75% of our students also participate in intramural sports. That sounds interesting to you. A little bit about outcomes and support. As you can see, about 97% of our students after graduation are employed or involved with graduate school 9 months after graduation. We have an 82% 4-year graduation rate. The national average is about 52%. So getting you through St. Olaf in 4 years is something that's really important to us. 12-to-1 is our student to faculty ratio. Average class size is 23. So you're really getting to know the people who will support you in the community and help you figure out what you want to do after graduation. Most students do graduate having had an internship or some kind of pre-professional experience. A little bit more about the financial aid and admissions process. You can see we do have 2 rounds of early decision, early action, which is not binding, and regular decision, which is not binding. Most of our students receive some kind of a grant or scholarship, 98%. And almost 80% of our students receive need-based financial aid. So we are committed to meeting 100% of demonstrated financial aid need for our families. That is something that is really important. Over here on the right, by the way, this is Holland Hall, one of the most beautiful buildings on campus, I will say. I would love to answer any questions you have. Here's an aerial shot of campus. You can see we are up on the hill with our fall colors. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Here's my contact info. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Maggie. And the last university we'll hear from is Purdue University. Sarah.
Thank you. I will go ahead and share my screen here. We can get it started. Awesome. So as I mentioned, my name is Sarah and I obviously work for Purdue University. We are probably the outlier in this group of institutions in that we are the largest in the group. We have about 45,000 total students and about 35,000 are going to be at the undergraduate level. We are kind of in this melting pot of a university in that we have students from all 50 states, plus over 120 other different countries as well. So we kind of bring the world to you in the heart of the Midwest. California is our 3rd largest state on campus. So most of those California students are in fact coming from the Bay Area. So you guys are more likely than not going to know a few familiar faces before you even start your first Purdue class. So a little bit about where we're located. We are in West Lafayette, Indiana, not Lafayette, California. So don't be misled there. So we are about an hour from Indianapolis and about 2 hours from Chicago in a very traditional college town. So students are really able to kind of get the best of both worlds in a sense, where if you want that city fix, it's super easy to pop up to Chicago, enjoy some deep dish pizza, be back for an event we have going on, maybe a basketball game later that evening, or maybe you want to go down to Indianapolis, enjoy the museums or catch a Pacers game, anything like that. But within our town itself, we have a lot of events going on throughout the year. So concerts, comedians, Broadway shows, professional lecture series, like we've had Neil deGrasse Tyson, Soledad O'Brien, political debates, anything like that. With my California students, most of our students will utilize the shuttles that we have going from campus to both Chicago O'Hare Airport and Indianapolis International. So it's super, super easy for you guys to get back and forth between the Bay Area and campus. With our community that we have, even though we are a large school, we have very much that community feel. Our average class size is about 30 students with a student to teacher ratio of about 13:1. So actually, let me introduce you to Alexis Roberts, the first student on the far left there. She was a student in our biology program. We actually have 9 different majors within biology. She was actually involved in some research involving jaw biomechanics of sculpins, which is a type of fish. And through her biology major, she was able to actually secure a study abroad research internship in the Caribbean, which who doesn't want to do a research internship in the Caribbean, right? Lay on the beach, do some research in the meantime. Who is going to complain about that? And then the third student on the, I guess in the row there is SJ. He is a student, actually now a grad student, after doing his, completing his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering technology. He actually was involved in some research pairing with Tupperware, the brand, and he was able to help develop some smart Tupperware, where that Tupperware is able to assess how long your food is going to last, how fresh it is. It can communicate with a smart refrigerator as well. So it's a very, very innovative research project that he was able to get involved with actually in his sophomore year, which is actually relatively early for his particular program. But that just goes to show you that research opportunities are plentiful for our students, even at the undergrad level. A common question I get from my Bay Area students is, where can I get a job or internship? Our CCO, or Center for Career Opportunities, is the main hub for jobs, internships, interviews, anything like that. We actually host the largest student-run career fair in the country. It's called the Industrial Roundtable. And for that fair alone, we have over 400 companies from all over the world attend every fall, whether it's Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Apple, HP, Qualcomm, Walt Disney Company, you name it. So it's very, very easy for students to secure those internships back here in the Bay Area, or even jobs after you graduate. We also have close to 1,000 student organizations and clubs on campus. So a little fun fact, that train you see on the far right there, that's our official mascot. It's called the Boilermaker Special. It's the largest mascot in the nation. And so we even have a club of students that drive that train all across the country, even back here to the Bay Area when we were in the Foster Farms Bowl for a football season a few years ago. As far as our academic programs, we have a lot to offer for students. Our most competitive programs are going to be computer science, engineering, nursing, professional flight, as well as business. But we have anything under the sun, whether it's education, pharmacy, a very competitive College of Agriculture as well. So we have a very diverse array for no matter what your interests are. The other thing that I want to mention is in regards to our admissions review. So a couple of things I want to point out. It is holistic, so yay. But for our rising seniors, we are going to be test flexible for next year as well. So what that means is that if you have a test score, great, we would love to see it. If not, that is fine too. You're still eligible and competitive for admissions, scholarships, honors college, and so forth. The last thing that I want to leave you guys here is the cost. So the main thing I want to point out here is 10 consecutive years of frozen tuition. So we've not had a single tuition hike since 2012. And in fact, the cost of room and board has gone down since then as well. So it's actually cheaper for you guys to attend Purdue now than it was back in 2012. So thank you guys so much for being here. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And we have just a few minutes left, so there's still time for you to ask questions. If you haven't already addressed any questions, you can do that in the Q&A now. And I'd like to invite my colleagues to turn their mics and cameras back on and join us just really quickly. We have about 3 minutes total and 6 of you. So if in about 30 seconds each, you could give one bit of advice or quick tip to someone who's just starting their application process. Morgan from Wake Forest, you're first.
I think I'm unmuted already. Great. So this is something I was thinking about because we all just did case studies, most of us, I think, an hour before this. And one of the things I want to tell students is that you know yourself better than anybody. And I think sometimes students forget how far self-advocacy can go in this process. Hopefully today, seeing all the faces of these people reaffirms that there are real people reading your application and who really want to get to know you. And so reach out to the colleges you like, find out who your regional deans are, introduce yourself to them. Additionally, on your application, we only know what we know about you based on what you're wanting to share with us. So share what you feel like is important and what gives us a sense for what you're passionate about and who you are. So that would be my advice.
Thanks, Morgan. Now, Matthew from Boston University.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of what Morgan was talking about, mentioning always feel free to connect with us. We are very much human. We very much want to be your advocate, your resource, anything that we can do to assist you in this process as you explore colleges. Obviously, it's difficult, it's strange, it's weird, it's uncomfortable, it's really, it sucks, right? It's something that we're all going through. So we want to make sure that we're able to assist you as you go through this college search. One silver lining is we have all been forced to reimagine how to be able to connect you with our universities. Take advantage of those. Take advantage of our virtual tours, the ability to connect with students online via email, via webinars like these. Take advantage of all the resources to learn as much about the university from as many perspectives as possible, from students, from information sessions, from panels. These are all great ways to just see different viewpoints on any institutions that you're looking into.
Thanks, Matthew. Morgan from Lehigh.
Yeah, I was actually going to point to some similar things that Matthew mentioned, that even though some of our campuses are starting to welcome folks to campus, I can bet that we're all still going to be offering a lot of virtual opportunities. So if you're not able to make it to a campus, there's still lots of ways that you can learn. And not only can you learn more about our campus, but many of us are posting sessions and things that will help you through the application process. So whether it's learning more about holistic admissions, demonstrated interest, interview tips. I know we're starting to do sessions like that virtually, and I also posted a link to where you can learn more about that, but take advantage of that.
Thanks, Morgan. Liam from Sarah Lawrence.
I'm going to recommend that everyone breaks their own rules every once in a while. So if you have your mindset on going to a specific size school or in a specific location, that's great. Definitely look at schools that meet those, but don't only look at schools that meet those. Find some contrast and take a look at some schools that kind of go against the grain, if you will.
Maggie from St. Olaf.
Yeah, I would say two things. So one of them would be to talk to a current student if you can. A current student, whether they work for admissions or if you just know somebody maybe from your high school who goes to whatever college you're looking at. I think they're sometimes unabashed in their praise and also in their criticism of the institution. So I think that can be sometimes the best gauge that students have for getting a true feel for the community. And the other thing is just to ask yourself how you learn best. What kind of community do you feel like you really thrive in? Is would you prefer to not do sort of class discussion and chat with teachers and get to know teachers? Would you prefer more of a large lecture kind of hall style kind of community or learning environment? So really just ask yourself how you learn. And while you also challenge yourself by getting out of your comfort zone and looking at colleges that maybe you've even never heard of, it's also a good thing to just kind of audit sort of yourself and how you feel at home and comfortable too.
Thanks, Maggie. And Sarah from Purdue University, you get the last word tonight.
Oh gosh, so much pressure. The first thing I'll say, enjoy the process, reframe the whole admissions process and realize we're looking for reasons to admit you, not reasons to deny you. So I think hopefully reframing that process will help kind of relieve some stress. But the piece of practical advice I want to give is to utilize Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheets to keep all of your schools and dates, deadlines, required documents, all in one place. So you don't have to search on each individual institution's website for all that information. That'll just help you tremendously when it comes to making sure you're on top of those deadlines because they are so important in admissions. But thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you to all of our panelists. We really appreciate you sharing with us this evening. And thank you to all of you for joining us, students, parents, counselors, whoever you are. When you close your window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We really appreciate your feedback. Also, there are some more sessions coming up right after this, so be sure to sign up to hear from some other colleges and universities. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as recordings of all of the other sessions online at strivescan.com/BACS. Thanks again to everybody and see you later.